Awesome. All right. We will go ahead and dive in. I'm going to go ahead and just put up the responses here if you've had a chance to participate in our pre-webinar poll about your current knowledge of SEO. I'm going to put up those answers here, just kind of gauging where we are, where everyone is at. So you should be able to see those responses in the webinar. So I want to go ahead and just thank everyone for joining us here today. We're really excited to host another of our deep dive webinar series. And today we are going to be talking about the top 5 questions that people ask about SEO. Obviously, a little bit of kind of a topic that's close to home here for all of us at Virtual Vision. We hear these questions that we're going to cover today, if not on a daily basis, for sure on a weekly basis. So we're excited to just be able to kind of walk you through some of these questions and how that relates to you and your business. Awesome. Okay. So let me just offer some quick notes here as we get started. So obviously, as all of our attendees are jumping into the room, all of you are currently muted. You will stay that way. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want to hear your beautiful voices, but it'll just allow us to stay on track and make the best use of our time here today. I do want to encourage you, however, to participate in the chat that we have available for today. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post those in the chat. We'll be having some time at the end of this webinar to answer those for you. If any of you that are joining us here today are clients of Virtual Vision, first of all, a very heartfelt welcome and thank you for attending. If you have any specific questions related to your account specifically, those are best directed directly to our team rather than in the chat. You can go ahead and email those directly to marketing@virtualvision.net. Wonderful. And then I would also just one reminder that I didn't put on the screen is go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat. Say who you are, where you're from, and where you're joining us from today, maybe your company, just to engage with others that are joining us as well. We would love for you guys to be able to participate today as well. Let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about Virtual Vision if you are not familiar. So Virtual Vision, we have been in business since 1997. So quite a while. Super excited and happy to be celebrating several years in business and being able to walk alongside so many companies in their digital marketing journey. Our goal at Virtual Vision is really to truly be a digital marketing partner to help our customers amplify their online presence. I say all the time, and if you've ever heard me talk, you've heard me say it over and over and over again. But at Virtual Vision, we are not just a normal marketing company. Our goal truly is to be in the corner with our customers, to have someone that's got their back and can help them with their online presence. And that's really what we aim to do and what we offer. We do that through several different pieces. We have been awarded some awards for some tools that we have that have been built in-house and have been able to outperform for SEO time and time again. And so that is a really special thing for us to be able to do. Finally, we offer 3 primary tiers of service at Virtual Vision. Those 3 primary tiers are performance reporting. We tell you how your marketing is actually doing, and we're transparent about that. Number 2, lead generation. Let's get your phone ringing. Let's get people in the door, maybe not physically, but virtually, and make sure that we are helping your business thrive. And then finally, a full optimization package, which we do through the use of a high-performing website and ongoing performance plans that range from simply website hosting all the way up to full-on digital marketing campaign and account management. And then my name is Amanda. I am the Chief of Operations here at Virtual Vision. I have the honor of representing our company whenever we get a chance to speak about the things that we do. And I'm so very excited to be joining you here today in our deep dive webinar series. So obviously today, talking about those top 5 questions that people ask about SEO, I wanted to give you a quick overview of what you can expect to get out of today's webinar and what you can expect to take away. So first and foremost, we are going to be looking at a foundational understanding of SEO. What is SEO and why is it even important? Number 2, what is the relationship between SEO and lead generation? How do we actually utilize that to convert our customers? The third thing, what is a realistic time frame for SEO improvements? And then finally, the importance of a consistent strategy when we look at SEO. And we're going to dive into all of these today by looking at those top 5 questions that we hear every single day at Virtual Vision. Let's start with this though. Understanding the fact that as people who are eager to succeed online, we are very eager to see SEO success. SEO, or search engine optimization, truly is the backbone for digital success. And our goal today is to help you understand why we call it the backbone. But understand that we're all joining today with that same goal. We all want that first page of Google level success. We all want to be at the top when someone pulls up our business and is looking for a service that we provide. We want to be what they see first and what they choose. However, there are some misconceptions about search engine optimization that might be actually holding us back from being able to attain that top level success and being able to do that successfully. And that's what we're going to look at today. 9 times out of 10, we come in with these understandings. We expect SEO to be visual. We expect to be able to see when something's being done on our SEO. Number 2, we expect it to be instantaneous. Oh, I see I've got some balloons coming up on my screen here. We also expect SEO to hit the mark the first time. Well, what does that actually mean? And then we also expect SEO to make our phone ring. These are all expectations that maybe without even realizing we come into SEO with, and then we tailor how we expect our SEO to perform based on these unspoken expectations or even unrealized expectations. And then our understanding of what someone is doing for us is based on these items. So here's the 5 questions that we're going to be addressing today. The first question is, let's start with the foundational one. What is SEO? Why does it even matter? Kind of 2 questions in one there. What role do keywords play in SEO? Is SEO the same thing as lead generation? How long does it take to see an increase in my SEO? And in all of this, how then do I actually measure SEO? All right, so let's go ahead and dive in to our first question. What is search engine optimization and why does this even matter? But I think in order to do that effectively, we first have to understand sort of the history of what SEO is and where it's come from. And that will lead us to the point of why it's so important. So let's kind of take a look at the evolution of SEO. I don't know about you guys, but I can still remember a time when SEO, I guess, sort of like, quote, didn't even exist, where I still remember getting that first really big computer in our home with that dial-up internet or the floppy disks. Like the internet felt so cool at that point because it was very, very new. And that's where you first look at kind of this birth of SEO that started in the 1990s. We begin to see the early days of the internet as websites really kind of started to emerge. I can still picture what some of those look like in their really elementary form. These were like basic optimization websites, right? So there was a lot of keyword stuffing. There were meta tags, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But if you remember, a lot of those websites were very table based. Like they were kind of very limited. They had like little movable icons on them and kind of looked like a glorified Word document. And this is where search engines like Yahoo and Alta Vista really dominated that online landscape in those early days of SEO, because those were the early adapters of getting those websites and a place to search. Then we move to the early 2000s and we look at the rise of Google and the algorithms that come with Google. So Google here takes a lead in search with a much more sophisticated algorithm than we were seeing from a search engine like Alta Vista or with Google. We start to see the importance of quality content and backlinks start to emerge. Websites start to be a lot more in depth, a lot more consistent. We start to see a lot more come online with them. And SEO specialists really start to focus on Google for how search results are coming up. Then we move to the 2000 to 2010 era, and we start to look at the importance of content. People really start to dive into their websites. They're no longer just landing pages. They're content that gives information about a business and what they're providing. This is where Google really focuses on that importance of relevant content, although as a side note, not quite as much as they are today. This is where we start to see a really big rise of blogging specifically, which is a short way of saying that this is content marketing. And we start to see, of course, again, early social media platforms, Twitter, we see things like MySpace, if you remember those, really began to start impacting search rankings. And then we look at 2010 up till now with a huge focus of SEO being on user experience. Google updates include updates looking at targeting low quality, or this says PAMmy, it should say spammy links, really like pushing those down, saying this is not quality information to be on a search page. Mobile optimization becomes key. We're looking at user experience, site speed, and the protection of that becoming huge ranking factors. And then, of course, obviously in this day of age, we're looking very heavily at voice search and AI-driven search results being pretty heavily focused on. So now that we understand kind of where SEO has started and where it grew to, we have to step back and say, okay, so what is truly the primary goal of SEO? And I'll say it again and again, SEO, for those who might not be familiar, search engine optimization. So the name in and of itself is quite literally what the primary goal of SEO is, and that's optimizing your website's content, structure, and performance to show up in a search engine. And going back to that first slide that we saw, this is why SEO truly is the backbone for digital success. Search engine optimization, the primary focus of that is through organic or not paid traffic. So if I'm typing something in Google and someone comes to my website, I didn't pay for them to click on an ad to get to me. That's organic or SEO traffic. We're looking at things like visibility and ranking, that cost-effective traffic, because we're not paying any additional. SEO is free. It doesn't cost you anything for your SEO to be up online. Your search engine optimization is what's building that credibility and aiming at your target market to truly get the right people in the door to show up at your website. And it increases and looks at the overall user experience. Really just plain and simple. SEO is what tells a search engine what you're all about and what you should be showing up for. If I'm a flower shop in whatever city I'm in. Here we're in Wausau, Wisconsin. So if I'm a flower shop in Wausau, Wisconsin, my SEO needs to be aimed at the fact that I'm a flower shop. I don't need to be mentioning something that has nothing to do with flowers, because that's what I need to show up for. So SEO is what a search engine is looking for and allows me to show up for. It's what makes my website discoverable. Okay, so I think now we've got a primary foundation for SEO. SEO tells a search engine what we need to show up for, right? So now let's step back and ask that question. Okay, well, why is this even important? Why does it matter? Here's a fun fact for you. On average, organic search traffic accounts for over 50% of a website's traffic. 50%. With over half of the traffic that's going to websites, organic traffic, not paid, so that's directly correlated to your search engine optimization. With over half of that coming from your SEO, you have to be optimized to show up. Now, if you have been following Virtual Vision for the last couple months, you've likely seen that I've had a lot of fun lately being able to post some information about SEO and things like that through some YouTube shorts. And one of the things you'll probably hear me say often in those is, think of it this way. So today we're going to really highlight on that idea of think of it this way to help you grasp the understanding of SEO and how that actually translates to your website and what it does for you. So here's your first think of it this way for today. Think of SEO like the highway. Okay, so here we've got a picture of a highway. A highway's goal is to get a car on it and get them to their final destination, right? It is most literally the avenue that's directing traffic. SEO is your highway that's directing traffic to their final destination. In this case, the car would be your search engine or your website, the vehicle that gets to drive that traffic. So we're going to say SEO, in this case, your car is the search engine. And SEO is quite literally the roadmap that allows users to navigate towards their desired end destination or their need, in this case, the answer that they are looking for. So SEO is your highway. It directs people toward their final destination, but it does not get them there. And we're going to come back to that. We'll come back to this analogy and build on it through the rest of our time here today. So let's move on now to our second question. What role do keywords play in SEO? And we get this question all the time because if you go back to thinking about the way that SEO has evolved over the years, really the initial basic understanding of it was based on keywords. When you think back to some of those like early websites, you think of, or at least I do, of very elementary feeling looking websites with lists, really, of the services that they provided. What those actually were keywords that someone might search for in that area. And I get asked all the time now, well, do keywords still play a role in my SEO or my organic ranking? The answer to that is yes, of course they do, but they still have a primary goal for SEO for keywords. So the primary goal of your keywords is to help a search engine understand your website's relevant to a specific search query or to a specific thing that someone is typing in Google and looking for directly. The quality of our keywords is what allows us to find the answers that our users are looking for. Again, keywords are what allow the search engine to know what to help you show up for. That being said, keywords are important because if you want your user to find your business, let's go back to my flower shop analogy, but you never once use that term on your website, Why would Google send someone to my website if they're looking for a flower shop, but I never once utilized those terms on my website? Keywords are important because they point to what someone is actually searching for. They are quite literally the key to unlocking that search result. And that's where keyword research is really such an essential part of a foundational SEO strategy. So, yes, keywords are so very important. However, you cannot just guess at what users are looking for. You have to research what are the things that people in your area are actually searching for. At Virtual Vision, we get the opportunity to work with customers across the nation. And I think it's always interesting when we first meet with someone to sit down with them and say, okay, I understand that you service this area, within your market. But then we always ask, is there kind of a specific term that people call that in your area? For instance, I grew up in Illinois, and I was about 2 hours from Chicagoland, maybe an hour and a half. Besides the point, anyone that was not from that area would say, if I'd say, oh, I'm from Northern Illinois, they'd say, oh, so you're from Chicago. No, I would shake my head and say, no, I'm not from Chicago. And then I could expand upon that. But why do I know that? Because that is not how I would look for something in my area. Whereas someone from not Illinois might say, I'm going to search for something in Chicago. People who live in that area might search the Windy City or the South Burbs or the North Shore, specific areas that relate to how someone is actually going to search for you. Those also become very key in the keywords that we are looking for. So yes, this keyword research truly is an essential part of a foundation of our SEO strategy. But even so, with keywords, you can't just say, great, I know that if I'm a flower shop, someone's going to search for me for flower shop, bouquets, flower delivery. And then I just say, okay, let's take all of those keywords and shove them onto this page on my website, and boom, I'm going to show up. We're good to go. Unfortunately, that is not how it works. Google calls this keyword stuffing, and this is their definition of it. Keyword stuffing refers to the practice of overloading web pages with an excessive number of keywords or keyword phrases in an unnatural or spammy manner. I don't know how many of you have ever been on a website and you've seen those pages where it's just like stuffed full of keywords or the content doesn't make sense. This is keyword stuffing. And the reason that this is no longer something that works for Google's algorithm is because it leads to a poor user experience. It doesn't show the user that I care about answering their question. And that's what Google wants to see. Grab a drink here quick. So stepping back then from those keywords, effective SEO involves creating high quality, informative content that actually addresses the user's search intent. If their question is, where can I buy a bouquet for my mother-in-law in Wausau, Wisconsin? I need to create quality content that answers that question for them rather than just saying, buy a bouquet here. Answer the question that your intended audience is asking. Solve their problem. For many of you that are here today, you're working with Virtual Vision in the aspect of restoration marketing. 9 times out of 10, you're looking at emergency situations where maybe water damage took place and someone needs to come in and clean that up. Their question might be, what sort of water damage mitigation can I perform on my own before I need to call a professional? That is an answer and a problem that a user has. And that is the type of content that we want to create that encourages them to see the authority in the service that you're offering, but then encourages them to call you. Okay, so let's go back to my analogy, think of it this way. So we've already talked about the highway. We've talked about the fact that SEO is quite literally the road that leads people and provides them the avenue to get to their final destination. So think of keywords like the road signs. As you're going down the highway, you see the road signs that show, hey, go this way if you want to get to this city, go this way if you want to get to this city. Think of keywords like that. Keywords are the road signs that provide direction for the highway. It tells the users what's down each street or each road and allows them to know if they're heading in a specific direction towards something specific. So continue to hang on to that analogy. We're going to build upon it one more time. SEO is the highway. Keywords and quality content are those road signs that then provide the direction. Okay, so this is now going to lead me to the question that we hear most often, and it is not necessarily always worded this way specifically, but this is what I hear. If my SEO is so good, why is my phone not ringing? And this is a great question. In other words, is SEO the same thing as lead generation, or is SEO going to make my phone ring? And I'm going to burst your bubble pretty fast. I'm sorry. The primary intent of search engine optimization is not to make your phone ring. So the answer to that question is actually, they're not the same thing. SEO is not lead generation. While keywords and quality content provide a foundation in helping your user find you online, SEO alone cannot drive a user to take action in and of itself. SEO's focus is on the visibility and the traffic to get to you rather than on the direct conversions that lead to making your phone ring. Lead generation in and of itself is a high-level umbrella that encompasses a lot of additional strategies to actually drive a user to take an action. And those additional strategies are built on the foundation of your SEO where they found you, but then we have to entice them through different strategies to take a different action. And some of those strategies can include making sure you have a high-performing website that's optimized for user experience, that's optimized for call to action marketing. For instance, can someone click on a phone number and call you from your website? I might be able to find your website, but if I then have to go and type your phone number into my actual cell phone that I'm already looking at your website on, I'm probably just going to go find someone where I can do a quick click to call and not have to memorize the number to type it in. So there's lots of other strategies. SEO is the support or the foundation for your actual lead generation. It works in synergy with other marketing, such as content marketing, social media marketing, paid marketing, to allow those users to actually take an action. And this is why I am always a broken record when I say this, but this is why a multi-channel approach within digital marketing is so very, very key. We cannot place all of our eggs in one hypothetical basket of SEO and say, okay, I'm good to go. My phone will start ringing. Unfortunately, as much as we all wish that it was different, that is just not how it works. A multi-channel strategy is what allows us to drive traffic, nurture leads, and convert people into customers. Every avenue has their unique role in reaching and converting a target market, and they're built on the basis of SEO. So let's go back to our analogy again. Think of it this way. SEO is your highway. Your keywords, your content are the exits, or I'm sorry, the road signs, the exit signs, whereas your strategies for lead generation are the actual exits off the highway. So the highway of SEO directs the users toward their end destination to help them get to where they want to go. The SEO strategies through keywords, content, they're the road signs that tell them, hey, if you want this, go in this direction. If you want this, go in this direction. Whereas the exits themselves are the actual avenues users take of lead generation that convert them into a customer, allow them to take an action and help them reach their final destination. If their final destination is to call you, your SEO had to work to get them to find you. Your keywords had to work to get them to know they're landing in the right spot. But now your final piece of SEO needs to point the user in the right direction to help them reach their final destination so that they can actually call you. Here's one more metaphor that I just really liked, and I had to point this out. SEO and lead generation, it's comparable to setting up a storefront on a really busy street. I do not know what town this street is on. I Googled this picture. SEO is like a storefront that you put up on this busy street. The sign and the storefront itself ensure that people are going to see that store, but it does not make them walk in and buy something. I need to do something else for that to happen. And that's the relationship between SEO and lead generation. SEO drives lead generation, but it cannot drive those conversions itself. Okay, so we've talked about what SEO is. We've talked about the keywords within SEO and what role they play. And we've talked about the fact that SEO and lead generation, while both very, very important, are not the same thing. So our fourth question, how long does it take to see a boost in my SEO? And for this question, we're going to start with our think of it this way analogy. So think of it like a marriage proposal. You wouldn't get down on one knee in front of someone on a first date, would you? Probably not, and I certainly hope not. Even more so, though, you would not propose to someone on a blind date when they literally know nothing about you. That is much like the importance of SEO and how long it will take to see that strategy work for you. Case in point, SEO is a long-term strategy. It is like building a relationship with someone that you have to show them, I am safe. I am someone you can trust. I love you. I will support you. All of the things that go into a long-term relationship. You have to build that trust and foundation first before you can get down on one knee and say, okay, now spend the rest of your life with me. A search engine and SEO are kind of the same way. SEO is a long-term strategy because you first have to build that trust with the search engine, and that takes time. Once a site is launched, one of the things that we do is we have to go tell a search engine, hey, we've got a new website. Now come look at it. We've got keywords. We've set it up for best SEO success, but now it's in the search engine's hands to date that website or learn about it in order to provide that foundation first. It has to index that so that we know it knows what it needs to show the website up for, right? That's where your keywords come into play. That's where your content comes into play. So pointing back to all the other things that we've already talked about. So it takes time for them to do this, and it's an ongoing process of refinement, of adaptation to match search intent, user behavior, and changing search engine algorithms. Now, Search engines change all the time. So do the way that users interact with the search engine. And that's why, just like a relationship is an ongoing work of progress, even once you have the proposal, you can't stop investing in that relationship. It probably won't go so well for you. The same is the case with websites and search engines and making sure that your SEO continues to be successful. It's a constant process. So this is actually what we see as far as how long it takes a search engine to really rank you and see improvement. SEO Co says 6 to 12 months is average to begin ranking in Google. Here's the two caveats, when you're using a good strategy and a domain that is at least 2 years old. Now, for those of you who are like, hang on, what? There's no hope for me. I'm a brand new website and I don't know what I'm doing. That doesn't mean you won't show up. It means, though, that you need some patience. It means that you need to understand that it takes time. When we work with brand new customers and we're launching a brand new website, one of the first things that we tell them is, once we launch your website, please know that it takes a minimum of 90 days for Google to first index your entire site. So you can't launch a website and say, great, now I expect it to go nuts. It takes time, a minimum of 90 days. And according to this statistic, 6 to 12 months to fully see the capabilities of how your SEO will perform, assuming you're even using a good strategy. So we go back to our idea of, think of it this way. It's a process. You're building a relationship with that search engine, and you have to be consistent and patient and persistent, truthfully, to really be able to see that success pay off. Now we get to our final question of the morning or of the afternoon. How do you measure SEO success? So this is a very deep topic. Truthfully, we could have our own webinar all about measuring SEO success. So today I'm going to aim at looking really high level. How do I even know that my SEO is performing? What should that look like? So to recap, we've talked about what SEO is. It's what tells search engines what you need to show up for. We have talked about the importance of keywords within your SEO. That keywords are really, those road signs. SEO is the highway. Keywords are the road signs that tell people where they want to go. I'm so sorry. I don't know why balloons keep showing up in front of me at least on my screen. Number 3, we've talked about the fact that SEO and lead generation are not the same thing. They support each other, but you can't rely on one or the other. They are made to function together. And then we talked about the long-term strategy. It is not a short-term strategy. SEO is not a set it and see it fly type of a thing. So now, how do we measure it? So here's just a quick overview of some of the areas that we look at when we look at measuring your SEO. We look at keyword rankings. How are those keywords actually performing, and what ranking are they showing up for related to your website on Google? Is your traffic growing? You should see at least consistency in your traffic rather than drops or significant drops. And that traffic is either growing or remaining consistent. Click-through rate. Okay, well, if you're showing up, are people actually then going to your website? Conversions. Again, once they get on your website, are they clicking to call? Are they filling out a form? Are they taking an action? Bounce rate. How quickly is someone leaving your website? Are they finding relevant and engaging information? Are they engaging in conversation with your site? Hypothetically, or quite literally, depending on the type of site that you have. Content engagement. How much time is someone spending on a specific page of your site? Is there a page that they're leaving or bouncing off of very quickly? Are we engaging them to stay on our website or encouraging them to leave? Local business listings. That can be like your Google business profile. How is that ranking? What are your reviews like? All of this relates to your SEO, even though with some things like that, that has nothing to do with your keywords necessarily, or isn't living on your website. And then finally, competitor analysis. How is your search engine optimization, your ranking, your keywords, how are those looking compared to the competitor that you have in your area? So I want to go ahead and show you some examples, but one thing I want to point off right off the bat is that sometimes while things do take time, sometimes we see significant improvement right away with areas of measurement. And I want to show you this because this goes to show that there is hope. This is a customer that we worked with for a period of time. They came in with very little placement or zero placement for any organics whatsoever. We implemented what we knew was a successful SEO strategy. We submitted it for indexing, and you can see that massive jump so quickly. This signaled that there was an error that needed to be fixed with their organics. And although it was rare, we could see right off the bat that this helped their organics tremendously. So again, just looking at some examples of SEO measurement. One thing I want to point out is that many people would look at a graph like this and say, uh-oh, right between August 1st and August 26th, I saw a drop. However, what we don't want to see is a significant drop, that it stays there. Ups and downs are very common. What we want to see, however, is that the average is consistent. And this is a great example of that. Here's another example where we see consistent, phenomenal measurement for SEO success. You can see here that the majority of what they are ranking for with keywords specifically is remaining consistent across the board for high levels, ranking in positions 1 to 3 on Google. Here's another consistent measurement. These are things that we want to see. Even if your graph is lower, if we're seeing consistence, or that's a good thing. And here's where we can see, again, that consistent strategy. In this case specifically, this customer, you can't see too far back, but came in with a much lower SEO. We launched their website in April, and what we saw was a continued growth model as those strategies continued. And now you see we've leveled off at that consistent rate, and that is what we want to see. Now, in this case, I want to show you what it looks like when you don't have a good strategy or you're not hitting the mark, and you're able to look at that SEO measurement then and make adjustments. And in this case, again, that jump kind of speaks for itself. These are all great examples of SEO measurement. You can see here where we saw that significant measurements begin to go up when a strategy was implemented. Same here, a new website with a new SEO strategy was implemented in September, and you see a significant rise right there. So these are all things that we want to do. If you are someone who is looking at your SEO strategy, I want to pause for a second to encourage you. If you know you're making a shift in your SEO, start the measurement now. Start it before you make a shift so that you can watch that progress to make sure you aren't dropping, or you're remaining consistent, or you're growing, so that that can help you gauge what you're actually looking at. In this case specifically, here's one that went to a different provider with less of an SEO focus because there wasn't an understanding of SEO focus. We lost a big piece here. This is just an example. We track a whole bunch of websites just to track what strategies are working and what needs improvement. And this was one that showed that. So as we look at overall areas of SEO measurement, and there are so many different tools to use for this online. One of the things, again, that we promote very heavily is that um, we look at performance reporting very consistently and what that actually looks like. We have people checking these things and looking to see, we had a drop. Is it going to go back up, or do we need to step back and look at and re-strategize that area of keywords or SEO and making sure that we're still showing up. One of the big areas that I want to call out in this section when we talk about measurement of SEO specifically is watching for search engine algorithm updates. Google is notorious for rolling out these big updates, and they say all the time, you might experience a drop. They're not going to say what their focus is, but when you do know that there are updates coming up, and you can get on lists that'll help kind of notify you that they're coming, although they won't tell you what the updates involve. But that's something that you want to watch for in your SEO measurement specifically. Is there a drop that happened related to an algorithm update? And then how then do we need to step back again and re-strategize, continue to build that relationship and invest in that time and consistency to get us back to a point of leveling out or growth with SEO? And I want to end by looking at just this quick quote that I have here. SEO and content aren't just about big fish. They're about casting the right net, reaching your target market, keeping it strategic. Keep it strategic, stay patient, and success will come. If I can stress anything today, it's that SEO or organic growth is so very important. And it's important in that to not get ahead of ourselves in hopes that we'd see this immediate boost. Because when we don't, we often want to throw up our hands and say, forget it, it's not working, I will find someone else. And we do need to give it time. And then there are often moments where we need to step back and say, okay, now it is time for a shift. It is time to look elsewhere. It is time to look for another partner. It is time to try something new. But we have to continue trying. We have to continue doing something. We can't throw up our hands and say, forget it. Because again, SEO is the foundation for building that online success. So I know I probably talked a lot longer than I even intended to, but I do want to leave a couple moments for questions if we have any. I don't see right now that there are any in the chat. But if you have one, please go ahead and pop that in there. While I give the opportunity for you guys to enter any questions if you have any, I also just want to thank you guys for joining us today. Specifically, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about SEO, or even honestly just getting a base level kind of audit, where is your SEO at? That's something that Virtual Vision would be happy to provide you with. So all you need to do is maybe just check in. You can check in on the chat. Otherwise, go ahead and scan this QR code and let us know that that's something that you would like, and we'd be happy to get that to you. So I hope that this was beneficial. I'm going to go ahead and launch one more poll here this morning. I keep saying that. I mean this afternoon. Let's see if I can find the area to launch my final poll. But I just want to make sure that this has been beneficial to you guys. Let me go back and launch my final one. So in closing, answer this question for me. Did you learn something new about SEO today? I want to make sure that this information was helpful. Again, no right or wrong answer, but even if there's one tidbit, did you learn something new today that you didn't know before? Thank you for those of you that are already filling that out and helping us get an idea if this is helpful. Again, if you have any other questions, you can certainly reach out to us individually. Wonderful. Just one final note, I'll be sending out an email asking for just a quick survey about today. How did it go? How can we help? What other topics would you like to see presented? We will be continuing with our deep dive series once a month. We've got some great ones planned for November and December. I'm not even going to hint yet, but if you watch in the next day or two, you'll see an email come out on that. But it's definitely, that's going to be something that's very important and pertinent to every single one of you. Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate those of you who joined us, and I hope that you will join us again for our next webinar next month. Watch your emails, complete that survey, let us know what you thought of today, and we will see you again soon.